Now, in the Chapter 5 material, this is actually a pretty straightforward, simple chapter. So all you need to know is on this particular handout here. Okay, so let's take a look at this handout. It's the Chapter 5 Permanent Funds handout. And what you need to know is the difference between three types of funds: Special Revenue Fund, Permanent Fund, Private Purpose Trust Fund. Now remember, Special Revenue Fund, Permanent Fund, those two are governmental funds. Private Purpose Trust Fund is a type of fiduciary fund. Now, when you want to differentiate between these three things, the first question you ask is, does it benefit general citizenry, that's up here, or does it benefit specific people? Another way of saying it is, if you have a fund, can it be used to help everybody, right? So for example, if you have like a public park that everybody can use, that would be up here. If you have a fund that's going to benefit only certain people, for example, spouses of military service members killed in action, that's specific people, that's going to be down here. If you have a pension fund that only benefits people who worked for Montgomery County, that would be down here. It's only benefiting specific people. So let's take a look at up here. If you have a fund that's going to benefit everybody, and you can spend the principal and the earnings, then that's called a special revenue fund. Okay, so special revenue fund is where you benefit everybody and you can spend the principal and you can spend the interest. In other words, you can spend everything. What if you have a fund where it's going to benefit everybody, but you don't spend the principal, only spend the earnings? Right? That would be a permanent fund. What if you have a fund that's going to benefit everybody, and pretty much you can spend whatever you like? That's called a private purpose trust fund. So let's think of an example of each one. A special revenue fund would be like a gasoline tax, and the money is used for a community center. That would be a special revenue fund. Permanent fund would be, for example, a rich donor leaves money. So a rich donor builds a park, and in order to sustain the park, in order to build the park, in order to maintain the park, only earnings can be spent. That would be a permanent fund. Private purpose. What about if we have a special victim fund for people who are children of police officers killed in action? Right? That's only benefiting certain people, not everybody. That's a private purpose trust fund. So for Chapter 5, make sure you know the difference between the three types of funds here: special revenue fund, permanent fund, and private purpose trust fund. Okay? And that concludes the Chapter 5 lecture material. Very simple and straightforward.